Well, I believed that. Hello and welcome to Night Chat. Okay, well, I'm gonna say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. I report stuff on this channel that is 100% provable. Only thing I can't prove is, well, I actually can, is most of my story can be proved. I have my own personal experience on things that have transpired in my life. It's been a very strange life. But let's check this out really quick on things that we can prove. Okay? We can prove that there's a documentary called the New World Order Bible that has done massive research proving that the people that run the news media are also financing all the new Bibles, the New King James Version, the New International Version, and they're only taking out scripture that pertains to Christ and his deity. Why would trillionaires that run the world be afraid of Jesus Christ if he wasn't real? What do they know that you don't know? Because they're spending billions, if not trillions of dollars to pull out scripture only pertaining to Christ. Now this documentary I'm talking about, the New World Order Bible, he'll show you the original sentence and then the new sentence after they had their way with it. And the money trail leads to the people that are running the news media, which is the taxpayers' money, along with the bankers, the IRS, Federal Reserve, that's been ripping off our money for the past 100 years. The Federal Reserve Act was supposed to be temporary during the war. Now, we were suckers. Not us, but our ancestors were suckers. They fell for it. They took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. And now because they believed it, they trusted the government. Now you and me are paying income taxes, which is completely against the Constitution. But they're using that money, and that just shows you how evil this stuff is. Okay, so we say, okay, we're paying you, we don't want no problems, so we're just going to continue paying you. It's like a mafia, they're strong-arming us. Then they use that money for black programs to have hired police officers, hired military men terrorize American citizens based on their political views, and in some cases really based on nothing. Because what it really is, see, they want to harass the political parties, like people like me. It's called a truth. I'm called a truther. That's the title for someone like me. We're called truthers. We look at like a robot. We zoom in on the information. We see, okay, fraud, crimes against humanity. It's just logical. When you get emotional, it'll knock you out. That's why you want to try to stay logical. But you have all these crimes, and that's what truthers do. We look at conspiracies that are provable. Like when the CIA has a document called Operation Northwoods, which is their plan in the 60s to fly airplanes into our buildings, kill American citizens. Let's say it differently. Let's say how it really is. Murder American citizens and then blame Castro over in Cuba so we can go to war. That shows you how diabolical their mentality is. Now, Operation Northwoods is a declassified document by the CIA themselves, where they admit treason against the American people. The American people are like sheep. They're asleep. Our forefathers would have never stood for this shit. Never. Because they knew back then that when you allow them to take an inch, they'll take 20 miles. That's exactly what's going on. Now, many people that own their homes are losing their homes because of Agenda 21, which are zoning laws and I can never say this word, agriculture, you know what I'm saying, laws on preserving the earth We preserve the earth by taking your property, is what their argument is. And the reason these folks have no help is because everyone's in cahoots. We got lawyers that are in on it. You got the Congress that are definitely in on it. You got the senators in on it. The mayors are in on it. The police departments and the major hospitals are all in on it. See, we didn't have the stories of alien abductions up until 1920. You can say what you want to say, but that's the facts. When you do your research, you're going to find out there's facts, and then there's what you would call speculation. Now, we have drawings of gray aliens that date back 5,000-6,000 years ago in the pyramids and caves. In pyramids and in caves. Then there's this blood that's worldwide, and then we have about 5,000 years of silence. Then you have a man named Crowley that went around sacrificing children to Satan, saying he was using the black magic to open portals. Around the same time, you start having alien abductions worldwide that increase. In the 20s, they're slight. 30s, they were slight. By the 40s, they start picking up. And then you have this stuff is out of control. Then you have 40 years later, 40 years after Crowley, you got the pop star singers. You got the Beatles, who have Crowley on their album, a man who sacrificed little children to the devil. Why would the Beatles give Crowley any kind of praise? Why? Why? Put two and two together and you'll get four. Now what I'm talking about is more of a supernatural nature, and that's what keeps them okay. So there's so much in front of your face, but they know you're not going to believe. A lot of you out there aren't going to believe stuff like ghosts and aliens. You got the silver foil hat going, so they're able to pull off a lot of things. Yet the things you can prove is treason at best. Now, if I recall right, the law says for people that commit treason, government officials especially that commit treason, people in powerful positions that we've trusted, like generals, like congressmen, I believe the law says that if they're found guilty, we hang them by their neck until they're dead, dead, dead. Now, let me ask you, any American citizens out there, because obviously a lot of you found my channel because of the flyers that were left out. Let me ask you a question. If you knew fellow Americans were being terrorized by the government, they have special projects, black projects, secret quiet projects, where they move in next door to American citizens, they shoot microwave weapons at them, giving them cancer, torturing them, terrorizing them, would you agree that's wrong or right? And does it really matter if in some of the cases, I'm sure there are some of the cases where they're actually choosing real suspects? Because we have some of these words I can't say. We have a law on the books, which is called you're innocent until proven guilty. You're supposed to arrest someone, present the evidence, and do it by the court system that we have in America. And that doesn't mean break my door open, shoot me in the face, and tell people I resisted arrest, and then you actually plant illegal substances around my house. That's what they're doing. How many people have died that we don't know about? How many people are dead that are suffering right now as we speak that we don't know about? Now, these are hardcore thugs. They don't mess around. They don't play around. And they're able to stay under the radar for the most part for the crimes they're committing. You got whistleblowers, you got this and that, but one thing we don't have is arrest. Now, here's what I say to you. The government has had their chance to observe the crisis, make the right choices, and proceed with criminal investigations, and the government has had the chance to keep their jobs by dealing with the tragedy which is fallen upon America like never ever before in our history. The history of this nation has never went through what we're going through now. And yet the government has decided not to keep you and me safe by prosecuting criminals that are working for the government and black programs and terrorizing American citizens. So now that they've made their choice, I say now it's too late. You've made your choice. So what we do now, you and me, if you're a truther and you're listening to this and you know what's going on, is we start protesting peacefully, flooding your city with flyers, get a free website up, put up some conspiracies, we get petitions going, we get a huge movement going, everyone joins together, every party out there that's not in cahoots with George Soros and all the globalists that are paying for all this black demonic programs, plural. And we approach peacefully as a nation and we say no more, you're out. Then we start prosecutions and we start putting these thugs away. Now what's going to happen is when you have the majority, let's just do a hypothetical. 350 million Americans, right? Let's say 349 million want them out. They're not going to step out. They're not going to step out. And that's what tells you that we are not in control anymore. The American people are not in control. We are not living in the America that you see. They're only giving you a sense of freedom so there's no rioting, so they don't lose their positions. See, Homeland Security, that kind of stuff is set up to protect the people, is what they tell you. But it's not. It's to protect the criminals that have hijacked America by fraud and false derivatives. And the proof in the pudding is that if we come together as a nation and we try to put these thugs away, they're not going to step down because that's their kingdom, see? We don't have a president no more, we have a king. The Constitution has been erased. And our forefathers that died and sweated for us to have freedom have died in vain. Our country has been invaded, overpowered, and conquered by a small group of trillionaires that run the world that are Luciferians. Okay, they don't like the word devil worshippers. That's actually an insult. Because see, Lucifer is not a bad person. He's a ball of light. He's a beautiful angel of light that loves you. They worship the devil. So if America doesn't wake up, if we don't stop them from their crimes against humanity, starting with their own people here on the soil, then we go to abroad where they're invading nations for the past 60, 70 years, murdering innocent families. If we don't stop them, if we don't wake up, if we don't reach the American people, you and me are 100% doomed. There's no argument about it. That's just the way it's always worked in history. That's the way it always worked in history. There's never been a nation like America before in Earth's history. And now that everything is starting to go good for the people of the world, and it was reaching out to the other nations, now they've invaded us, they've taken us over, and they're about to close up shop. See, gang stalking is the wrong term for it. It's the wrong wording for it. It's really terrorism. But the terrorists are our own government. The generals that are in our government are running military men that are in our government. Navy, Army, Marines. I think it's mostly Marines and Army. And they're running these black programs against their own people. See, I'm an American citizen. I was born in San Diego, California. I'm not a criminal. I don't break any laws. Yet they decided to watch me since I was 10 years old, at least 10 years old. I got proof. I got proof for myself. I know what happened. I get a phone call when I'm 10. Hey Tony, I know you're alone. I'm going to be watching you all your life, is what happened to me. And then I saw men in the windows over the years while growing up. They were watching me when I was a kid. They're doing this to other kids out there too. This isn't some foreign country. This is the American government doing this with the taxpayers' money. See? If you're guilty, let the shoe fit. Now we have to wake up the American people before it's too late. I don't believe it's too late. I really don't. I think it's getting close. I would say 1 to 100, we're about 92% finished. There's still an 8% gap, and there could be miracles, and there could be incredible people with incredible determination that could turn the tables, arrest the globalists here on our land, then later on seek and arrest the globalists across the seas. And we might not be able to stop this completely, but we can slow it down. If not, like I said, you and me are doomed. Your family, your friends, everything, goodbye, doomed. And let me tell you something, it's not going to happen 30 years from now. You're going to be seeing some horrible stuff happen in the next year to 3 years. Horrible stuff. Now, I appreciate Alex Jones. I watched his show for 4 years. I did my own research, so I appreciate that he allowed the truth to come out. But here's the problem with this, okay? You can't just report the news and the atrocities, and when you have that kind of power that he has, even if you don't want to be the king of the movement, you gotta be the king of the movement. He has millions and millions of followers. See? He is responsible. He has to take responsibility. But he hasn't done it. We supported Trump. I supported Trump. I think Trump's a good guy. And now I'm starting to second guess myself because he made some promises he ain't keeping. Now, I'm not saying Hillary Clinton's guilty of anything. I don't know. But what I do know is that Trump said she was guilty. He was 100% convinced that she was guilty. So I want either an apology or I want to see her be arrested. Because somewhere along the line, somebody lied. Now, I know gang stalking's real. So I know there are criminals inside of our government. That's a fact. And I'm talking about high level, the lowest form of maggot life that you could find anywhere in the world. If I was to, I don't want to get graphic. If I was to just open the trash can and you see those maggots crawling inside the trash can, that's a metaphor for what these people are inside of their soul, if they even got a soul. There should never be one black program ever committed on American soil against even one American. One American, that's it. It's over. Who's ever responsible for that should get life in prison at the least. Life in prison for just one person. Let alone there's thousands of reports, thousands of victims that are coming forward, and there's thousands more that don't even know they're a victim of gang stalking, which is actually just terrorism. They're being terrorized by their own government. I work hard, I pay taxes to you, and you spend that money, you buy a gun, and you shoot me. That's basically what it is. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what's happening here on American soil. This is what's happening here in America at this time right now. 2017, that's what's going on. And how do these inserts get inside of these victims? They're showing you like inserts, like they got this foreign objects inside of their brain cavity. How does this stuff get inside their body? It has to be through doctors. And when it's in the mouth, and it has to be the dentist. I mean, come on now, it's common sense. But I know for a fact that the majority of Americans would never go for this. And not only that, if they knew, it'd be game over. I know for a fact. There's way more of us than there is of them. But if we don't wake them up, nothing will change except things will get worse. Because this is a beta program, beta test, or beta testing to see how this works. Because their plans is to roll this out on everybody in the near future. Everybody. America has went from the land of the free, the home of the brave, one nation under God, to now becoming the new Germany that Hitler dreamed of. This is exactly what he wanted. And they're doing it the slow, quiet way in increments using Marxism to slowly take away your rights. And oh, it's no big deal, it's just a seatbelt. Oh, okay, I have to get car insurance, no big deal. Oh, I have to get health insurance now, no big deal. And it's gonna go and go and go until one day you and me are just chained up to a wall and getting whipped by some little puny little creep that still pees the bed. Videos are great, but we have to get out there where the real people are at. And I'll tell you why, because the people that are doing this to us are the ones that are running the nation, and they're the ones that also run all the online stuff, all the digital stuff. They are the digital world. They are YouTube. They are Facebook. Facebook, YouTube, CIA, it's all the same. They control your videos. They control who sees them. And should I remind you, if you have kids, they're watching your children naked inside your own home? You know that, don't you? I mean, you must know that. You see, this is a phone, and they could turn this thing on anytime they like, and there's a camera, a video camera. And whoever carries, it's like the Eye of Sauron. Whoever has this in their possession is like being on a stage with an audience. And the people in the audience are nothing but a bunch of pedophile creeps. Look, I'm almost 50, okay? I'm almost out of here anyways, but a lot of you out there are 20, 30, you have your whole life ahead of you. Do you really want to live in a prison camp? Because what you see now is almost gone. The little bit of freedom you see now is almost gone. And if you wait till it's gone, you're not going to change anything. You have to change it now while it's still there. I know it sucks, but that's just the way it is. That's the way it works. Now, what this really comes down to is a fight between the devil and a fight between God, the Creator. When it's all said and done, that's what it's about. That's why they moved him out of our classrooms, they moved him out of our courtrooms, because when God is removed from a nation, the hedge of protection goes with God. And now we're open wide, we're vulnerable. The bulletproof vest is off our chest. And they know that. That's why they're covering everything up. Like whenever there's a alien abduction. Popular study says when the victim cries out for Jesus Christ, the abduction immediately stops. That's why the people that run the world, the trillionaires, are taking out deity pertaining to Christ inside of the Bibles. Because when they're coming right now, it's going to be one, a physical reality. Two, part of it will be demonic. Where if you have the Word of God, you'll be able to be protected. I can't do this alone. Okay, you guys are going to have to make a move peacefully, legally. Get out there, go door to door, get your flyers going, get your free website up. You can get a free website anytime you like. Let the people know about Operation Northwoods. Let them know about what's going on, about the gang stalking, about victims being tortured, terrorized. There's all kinds of victims on YouTube. We gather the victims up. We go to court. We begin proceedings. We make this known. Where there's no way to block us out, no way to silence us, so we get out there to the main population and we nip it in the bud before this stuff's rolled out on everybody. We change the outcome of what's about to happen in real time. Am I right or am I wrong? No, thanks for watching, and get your heart right with Jesus. Go with God. And think it over. Making videos is great, but if we don't get out there, if we don't reach the American population, then we're nothing more than dinner on the plate. And I don't want to be dinner on the plate. What say you?
Mm-mm.